So Bryce was, obviously not the biggest guy, not, if you looked at measurables and things like that, he might not be the first pick. But when you watch him play and you coached him and you saw how smart he was and how he could anticipate and made great decisions and could, signal a guy because he had a pro mentality playing the position.
Yeah.
And he was a very, very fun guy to coach. And he was obviously a huge part of why we won that game.
Now, we'll jump into Alabama's roster in a second, but talking about Bryce, we were kind of like what we were talking about earlier with Drake May. You can't just put a guy in there that doesn't have the line, that doesn't have anyone to throw to. Yeah, and I felt like that's kind of what he was thrown into last year, that with the situation. Is there some hope for this kid if they get some guys around him? You still believe he could play in the league?
Yeah, you know me. Like I love the players that I've coached. So I will never bet against Bryce Young. He meant so much to what we did there, and we won 24 games there. We lost 4 games in 2 years there with him as the quarterback. 3 of those 4 were on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
This guy, he threw for 500 yards in that game that we're talking about. I mean, this guy was awesome. And, I think it's exactly what you said. Like, for a guy like Bryce, he's got to have good protection. Look, if he has to throw hot or he has to redirect the protection, he understands how to do that. But he's got to have, guys that can protect, and then he's got to have, at least 2 guys to throw to.
Yeah.
And a tight end. I think a tight end. And then, obviously, like I always say for these young quarterbacks, if they can have a decent running game, man, that can help you.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to rely on this guy to throw 50 times a game. Like, if you can balance that off by being able to run the ball and throw the ball kind of balanced, that would be a huge asset to a guy like Bryce.
Definitely.